Hello. So in this video, we'll be looking at the exercises. We have about, say, maybe close to 10 questions. So find the value of this. So here we just apply what we discussed earlier. So these are the trigonometric ratios for tan 45. Tan 45 is just 1 plus sec 60. We know that cosine 60 is 1 over 2. So sec 60 is just 2. Then minus sine 30, we also is 1 over 2. And multiply by cosine pi over 3, which is 60. So cosine 60 is also 1 over 2. So here we're going to have 3, 5. So this is about 1, 5 minus 1 over 4, right? And we can multiply here by what's 4 over 4. So this is just going to be 20 minus 1 over 4. And this is going to be 19 over 4. All right. Now, for this question, we want to find what's, if in the given figure below, AC, where is AC? AC is 10 centimeter. So it means the distance from A to C is 10. Okay. This is 10. And what do we want to find? We want to find the length BD. So we're interested in this length BD, right? Okay, so here, one thing we can see is we want to find BD, right? But if you look here, we can see that this is 90 degree, right? So what it means is that this angle is going to be 45 degrees. So let's call this part X. It means this side is also going to be X, right? Because we have two base angles are the same. So we're going to have this. And if this is X, so it means AD is going to be, let's say, 10 minus X, right? Because 10 minus X plus X will give us 10, which is the length AC. So if you look at this triangle now, you will see that if I say in triangle, we can use BAD. So what is this? This is 30, right? So this become opposite and this become adjacent. So you can see that we can say 30 degree is going to be BD, which is what we want, over what's over AD, right? But what is tan 30 is 1 over root 3. BD is X. AD is going to be 10 minus X. So all we need to do, I think, is to solve for X. So here we can cross multiply. So you see root 3X is going to be 10 minus X, right? And maybe we'll put the X's together. So this is root 3X plus X is equals to 10. And here we can take 10 as a common factor, X as a common factor. So you have root 3 plus 1 is equals to 10. So X is going to be 10 over root 3 plus 1, which is the same thing as 10 over 1 plus root 3. And that is X. But what is X? X is our BD. So we can say that BD is 10 over 1 plus root 3. So for this one, we have a 22-foot ladder resting against a vertical wall. So if this is your wall, you have leaning against a vertical wall. So this is 22 feet. Makes an angle of 60 degrees. So 60 degree with the ground. So we have this is 60 degree with the ground. find the exact height to which the ladder will reach the wall. So this is the height we're talking about. And from here, we can see we can use sine. This is a right angle triangle. So sine 60 is just going to be h over what? Is it h? Sine 60, yes. So not h, but yes, h over 22, right? Because these are opposite and this is our hypotenuse. And this is root 3 over 2 is equals to h over 22. So 2h is equals to 22 root 3. And the h is going to be 11 root of 3. Because you divide both sides by what? By 2, right? So we have 11 root 3. And that is E. So let's see the next. So the next is this one. It says that an aeroplane is flying 60,000 feet above the ground level. So similar to what we've done before. Let's assume that this is the ground level. This is the ground. So you have the height, the distance is what, 660,000 feet, right? Okay, so you have the airplane here. So this is the side of the airplane. And so we have that the angle of depression to the angle of depression. So it's just going to be like this. To the base of a tree, similar to what we've done before. So this angle of depression is going to be here, theta, right? So the angle of depression to the base of a tree is theta. And now we want to find how far horizontally must the plane fly directly over the tree. So this is the horizontal distance we need. Let's call it x, right? So that is what we want. And here you are given that sine theta is equals to what? 5 over what? Over 13. So one way to solve this is simply, we can use this theta. This is our angle here. So there's going to be another right angle here, call it theta here. So since this is 60,000 feet, the distance from here also to this will be 60,000 feet. So let's see, what can we, let's say we want to find x. If we want to find x here, it has to be opposite over adjacent. So I think we're going to have tan theta is what? Opposite is now 60,000 over what? Over x. This is simply from this triangle here inside here, right? So if you call it ABD, they call it ABC, so you can say in triangle ABC, right? But now you can see we don't know what is theta and we don't know what is x, but we are given that sine theta is this one, 5 over what's 5 over 13, right? So that's what it means here. Okay. So how can we do that? So one thing we can do is, I think I've explained this before, you can just form another what? You can form just a small right angle triangle, another one, and call anywhere to be your theta is fine, and use this information. Sine theta is 5 over 13. It means that this is going to be 5, this is going to be 13, right? And then you can find the adjacent by Pythagoras theorem. So by Pythagoras theorem, you can find the adjacent. And what would that be? So here, it will just be 13 square is equals to what? 5 square plus, let's say, y square. So you'll see we'll have 169 minus 25 is equals to y square. So this is going to be square root of 144, right? So it means it's just going to be 12. So here it's going to be 12 here, right? And so what that simply means is that from here, we can find what is tan theta. So tan theta here, what will be tan theta from here? Tan theta from here is going to be 5 over over 13, right? Because it's going to, not over 13, but over 12. All right. So once you have 5 over 12, you can go back here. So now you can go back here and then we plug it in here. So this is going to be 5 over what? 12 is equals to 60,000 over x. And then we can find what is x. So this will be 5x is equals to 60,000 times what? Times 12, right? And now if you divide both sides, so you'll see x is going to be 60,000 times 12 divided by 5. And this would give us what? 5 here, 1. 5 into 60 is 12. So this will give us 144,000. How many zeros? 3 0. So this is 144,000 feet. It's because we are left with what? 12,000 times 12. Okay. All right. So if from a top of what? This is also another elevation. He said if from the top of a tower, so 200 feet high. So let's have the tower here. From the top of a tower, and what is the height of the tower? 200 feet. The angle of depression of the top, okay? The angles of depression of the top and the bottom of a building opposite the towers are observed to be, okay, so you have a building. Let's say you have a building. Now this is the building. And this is the tower. So from the top of the tower, so your eyesight becomes this one, right? The top of the tower. We are told that what? The angle of depression of the top, okay? The angles of depression of the top and bottom, okay? The top and bottom of a building opposite to the tower are 30 and what? 30 and 60. So what it means is that definitely it means that the building is going to be smaller, right? So let's change this diagram here. So let's make so it's a bit longer. All right, so this is the site. Now, the angle of depression. So here we have how many angles of depression? I think we have 2 angles of depression. One is 60 The one that is, because here we're saying 30 and 60 respectively, but here you can see bottom and what? Top and bottom. So it means its angle of depression to the top is what? 30. The angle of depression to the bottom is what? 60. Because you can see top come before bottom. So it means the 30-degree is for the top and the 60-degree is for the bottom. So let's say this is the building here. So angle of depression to the top, this is the top of the bottom. This angle is what? Is 30-degree. Then now there is an angle of depression, still depression. So it means this one to the what? To the bottom. But now here we have to be careful here. You see here, this 60 is going to be from here to here. Everything is what is going to be our 60, because remember, when you are measuring, you have to measure from where? You have to measure from the reference. And what is our reference? Our reference now is this line of sight. This is our reference because this is the height of the building. So this is it. All right. So now what we need to find is the what? The height of the building. It's equal to this. So we're looking for the height of the building. All right. So now don't forget that this is the building. So we know, what do we know? Let's say this is the ground. We know that the distance from here to here, the whole of this is 200 feet. Correct? Yeah. So now we are looking for the height of this building here. So let's call it H. Okay. And don't forget here, since this is vertical, then we can complete it here so that we can have a right angle triangle. We can have a right angle triangle here. And what is going to be this height? This height, remember here is H also. So since this is 200, so this is going to be like 200 minus what? Minus H, because it's going to be the same height as this. Okay. All right. So what we can do here is simply, remember what we are looking for is what is H. But if we can get the whole of this side, then we'll be fine. Then we can look for that. So what we can use is, we can use the what? We can use the bigger angle, which is 60-degree here. We can use 60 here. Yes. So what is 60-degree? This will be opposite, right? Opposites. But what else? Where can we use again? So we need to find something else we can use. Okay. All right. So let's see if this is, let me draw another thing here, because we need to know what is X. We don't know this horizontal distance as well. We don't know. So this, and also we don't know here, this one. So you can see that if we say we want to use this one, this is opposite over adjacent. So tan 60 is going to the whole opposite. Remember, what is the opposite? Opposite is going to be all of this one, which is going to be this distance, right? This whole of this distance, which is 200 minus what? Minus H plus H and all of that. So what can we do to get that position there? So if we use tan 60, definitely tan 60 will just give us what? Would just give us H plus what? 20 minus h over what? Over x. So we can get what is x, right? And so what can we do? And what is tan? This is root 3. Definitely here will just be what would cancel. This is 200. Is it 200? Yes. 200 minus h. So here everything will go. So we just have 200. It's going to be the same length over what? Over x. So you have root 3 of x is equals to what? 200. So we can have, this is x, will just be 200 over what? Root 3. We can multiply by root 3. So x is just 200 root 3 over what? Over 3. So this is x. All right. So what can we do? Now, this part, I think we can actually get what is this. Or instead of doing that, we can just use the smaller angle, which is 30, and we can get this part. Okay, now we know that x is this. So if x is this much, it means that this part, our x here is what? 200 root of 3, right? So if it is 2 of 3, I can find what? I can find this part here. We can know what is actually the length, because remember, we don't know what is h. So we can find what is this part. Let's call this now, say, remember this is 200 minus h, yes. Okay. So we can use the small triangle now. As you can see, this is divided by 3. I can use the small triangle inside, which is 30 degree. So you will see that we can also use tan 30. Tan 30 now will be what? 200 minus h over what? Over x, right? But we know what is tan 30. Tan 30 is 1 over root of 3. And this is going to be 200 minus h over x. The whole of x we know, which is what? 200 root 3 over 3. So from here we can try to find what is what is h, because once we get h, then we are fine. So here, what we can do here is we can write this one. This one is 1 over root 3, and this is 200 minus h over 1 times what? 3 over what? 200 root of 3. Yes. So here, don't forget that we have a multiplication here. So we can easily cross multiply here. So you'll have 200 root 3 divided by root 3 is just going to be what's just going to be 200 minus h multiplied by 3. And so what can this be? So here we can multiply this. Root 3 will cancel root 3. So here is just 200. Here, if you expand, you will get 600 minus what? Minus 3, right? So it means the 3h is going to be 600 plus what? Plus 200. And this will be 800 divided by what? Divided by 3. 800 divided by 3. Okay. So 800 divided by 3. If we forget to divide by any, let's see. What is 1030? 1030 is this much 1 over 3. And here you have divide by 200. So you have 200 over 1 times 3 over this. And if you cross multiply, this will go, we have 200. This will be 600. And that. Okay. $800, and this is 4. Okay, yeah. Sorry. This should be minus here. Very good. So we have 400. 400 divided by 3. Yes. So, and you can see this is the height of the building is 400 divided by 3. Okay. So let's go to another question. Now, question 6 says what? The angle of elevation from the top of a what? A short building. So you have a short building here. And the angle of elevation from the top of a short building to the top. So this is a short building. You have an angle of elevation to the top of a what? A taller building, right? So the angle of elevation here is what? Is 60 degree. This is the short building. And this is the tall building. While the angle of depression to the bottom of the tall, so now you have two things. The angle of depression here is what? Is 30 degree. Now, if the shorter building is 20 meter high, so the height of the shorter building from here to here is what? Is 20 meters. Then the height of the taller building. So you are looking for the height of the taller building now. So this is the height of the taller building. Call it H. This is what we want, right? Okay, now if you look at this question, we know that this is our line of sight. So this will be the distance between the building, this part. And we don't have any other thing. Any other thing we have is that what? Based on this diagram and the explanation. So if the height of the short building is 20, it means from here to here is also going to be 20, right? So this is also going to be 20 meters, right? But don't forget, what is the goal? The goal is to find this big H here. So already we know that this is 20 meters. So what we need to get, if this is 20 centimeter now, we need to just find X. Let's call this one X. So it means our H is going to be X plus what? Plus 20, right? So now how can we get X? That is what we need to think about. So don't forget that here we have a right angle triangle. So if we can get this base, if we can get from here to here, the distance between the two. So if we can get the distance between the two, then we'll be fine. So we need to find this distance, right? And to find that distance, you can use, you can actually use angle 30. So for example, you see that if we say tan 30 is going to be what? 20 over what? Okay, so we can call this point to be y, right? So 20 over y. You see that? because I'm using 30, so this is opposite over adjacent. So, but what is this? This is root 3 over 3 is 20 over y. So you have root 3y is equals to what? 60. Am I correct? So it means that y is 60 over what? Root 3. If we cross multiply, opposite over adjacent, cross, or you rationalize, we'll have what? 60 root 3 divided by 3. So y is going to be 20 root of 3, right? So this is y. But remember, y is not what we are looking for. We are looking for what? We are looking for the height of the taller building. So if we know y, we can know x, right? Now, to find x, we will use this one. So you can see that from here, we will have opposite over adjacent. We can also have tan 60. Tan 60 now is going to be x over y based on this diagram. But what is tan 60 is root 3. And what is x? We don't know what is x, but we know what is y, which is 20 root 3, right? So it means that x is going to be 20 root 3 times another root 3. So x is going to be 20 times 3, which is what? Which is 60. But what is h, if you remember? H is x plus what? 20, which means, what is x now? X is 60 plus 20, so this is 80. Okay. All right, so here we have suppose that you stand in front of what? Suppose that you stand in front of 240 meter building. So let's say this is the height of the building, and this building is 240 meters high. Then if the angle of elevation to the top, so it means you are standing. So if you are standing, the angle of elevation means you are looking at the top, right? And the angle of elevation, okay, suppose you stand. Okay, and let's see this. Let's see. How far are you from the building? So here we will have the angle of elevation is pi over 3. So we want to find this distance, the distance between standing position and the building. And here we can just use tan pi over 3, which is going to be 240 over x. But what is tan pi over 3, which is tan 60, will give us root 3 is 240 over x. So we have root 3x is 240, and this x is 240 over root 3, which we can rationalize. So we have 240 root 3 divided by 3, which will give us 80 root of 3. Okay, so the next question is that in these so here we want to find the length of what? The length of AB, right? So what is the length of AB? Means we want to find, let's say, this length. And what do we have? We already have BC to be BC is 10 centimeter. All right. So how can we find X now? So let's see what we can do. We know that this is 90 degree. So here we can first of all try to look for this distance. So let me use triangle what? Triangle DBC. So you can see that we can use tan 60 is going to be DC over what's over BC, right? So here is root 3 is equals to BC. We don't know what is B, no, DC, sorry, DC. Okay. So we have DC over BC. BC is given as 10. So from here, we can easily find what is DC, right? So it means that DC is just 10 roots of 3. In other words, it means that this is 10 roots of 3. But what is our interest? Our interest is not DC, but AB. So how can we find AB? We can use the bigger right angle now. So we can now say in triangle, we can use DAC. So if you use DAC, you will see that we can also say tan 45 is still going to be DC over what? But now it's going to be over AC, right? But if we look, we know tan 45 is equals to 1. DC is just known already, which is 10 root 3 over AC. AC is nothing but, let me write it. It's going to be AB plus what? Plus BC. So if you cross multiply here, it means that AB plus BC is just 10 root of 3. But remember, we're looking for AB. So AB is what? 10 root 3 minus BC. Not BC, what did I say? Yes, minus BC. Yes, right. So it means that AB is 10 root 3 minus BC. BC is already 10. See? And we're done. So here, let's finish it up here. So AB, we can take 10 out. So you have root 3 minus 1 and centimeter. Okay. So this is This should be question number 10. So here the length AB. So AB is what? Is 10 centimeter. Then we're interested the length DC. Where is DC? So we're interested in the length DC. Okay, so this is what we want. And what can we do here? Now let's see, if this is 60, that means that here is going to be 120. And it means that here is going to be 30 as well. So it simply means that these two sides, since this is 30, this also is going to be 10, right? So it means that these two sides are equal. So we're fine. So it means we can use in triangle what's DBC. We can use actually sine 60 is going to be opposite, which is DC over hypotenuse. This is 90 degrees. Hypotenuse is going to be what? Hypotenuse is going to be dB. Sin 60 is √3 over 2. DC is what we are looking for. dB is already 10. Yep. So if we cross multiply, we'll have 2DC is equals to 10√3. And the DC is going to be 10√3 divided by 2. So DC is just 5√3. And I think that is the end for this exercises. Yes. All right. These are recitation problems. Okay, so if you find this interesting, you can share with your friends. Thank you for watching. And if there's any problem, any question, you can put it in the comment section. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, you kindly do that. Thank you for watching.